Hey guys, I wanted to come on real quick. I said I wasn't gonna talk about this because I know y'all probably tired of hearing about the Will Smith, Chris Rock slap and different things like that. But there's something important I feel like that hasn't been said that needs to be said. And by no means am I speaking on someone's marriage because there's no perfect marriages. Marriages are what you make it. So I don't even speak on relationships much. And when I am in my counseling sessions and I'm doing my coaching sessions, I try to steer away from relationships because that can be a tricky kind of like slippery slope when you're talking about relationships because everybody's relationship is different. But in this case, I want to talk about marriage and what we kind of see marriage, and when I say see, we see is like a society of what marriage should be, what it should be like. When you enter into a relationship or a covenant with your spouse is a reflection of you, and you're also a reflection of your spouse. In that instant, when Chris Rock said what he said, and I don't believe that he said it to be nasty to her. I think he was just, being Chris Rock and not really realizing that it was going to cause that much heat or that it was even slap worthy. I don't think it was slap worthy. But it did, it caused Will to act in a way that I'm pretty sure he's not proud of right now. But my thing is this: as a wife, when you know your husband, you should at least, if you've been married to him for more than, I'm going to say 3 years, you should know his temperament. I say 3 years because the first 2, just shoot past that because they don't really show you the real you, real them, and you probably ain't showing the real you, who knows. But it just take a while. It take 5 years to really get in the weeds with everything. But the first 2 years, they call it the honeymoon years. But anyway, as I seen Jada sitting there and she kind of rolled her eyes because she got annoyed because, Will laughed at first. She rolled her eyes and she got a little annoyed. And then I guess he kind of felt like, okay, you don't think that's funny. Let me do something about that. Immediately seeing him get up in anger, or him get up at all. First of all, we had the Oscars. You getting up at all, that's just out of order. There's a certain order. Everybody know that when you come to some place like that, a high scaled, a high level place, there's a certain order. They got seating charts. You get up when you're supposed to. You don't just move when you're not supposed to. And if you got to go to the bathroom, you kind of do like one of those little church things where you kind of move to the bathroom. But your husband, and you can tell he was getting upset or whatever. You should have grabbed him and be like, hey, not here. This is not the place that we do that. Because at the end of the day, you're a reflection of me and I am a reflection of you. And for her to just sit there and look like, okay, well, he going on stage, I don't know what he gonna do, because she kind of was actually laughing because I guess she felt like, they friends. Will kind of, funny like that. He probably gonna go there and be like, all right, bro, watch your mouth about my wife. I don't think she expected him to, let's just say she didn't expect him to slap Chris, right? We're gonna say that. But this is my other thing. As he came back to have his seat and he was yelling the way he did, I immediately would have got up and be like, hey, no, sir. No, that's not what we're doing. Let's go. We're not doing that. Or stop him. Because at this point, it doesn't look good for either of us. It looks bad for me and it looks bad for you because we're a reflection of each other. We're one. And you messing up my coins. You messing up our image. And we worked too hard to get here. You're here for an Oscar tonight. We hope you win. But we got a lot of sponsors and a lot of things and a lot of people we've been in movies with and a lot of people that, I'm pretty sure you want to impress, and then our children are watching. This is not the time or the place. Why didn't you step up to kind of deflate the situation? Because at the end of the day, his temperament. You obviously seen he was upset when he hit him. You should have walked up to him right after that and be like, what are you doing? This is not what we doing. Okay, chill out. Or when you seen him start yelling, just walk over to him and grab his hand or something, just trying to show that you're supportive, you know what I'm saying? Or that you kind of feel that he's upset. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if you was upset about what was said, that's your husband. And that is a reflection of you and you of him. You could have did more. That's my only thing. I feel like as wives, we know our husbands and how they are. And the same thing with our husbands. They know us and they know how we are. But at the end of the day, there's a time and a place, and that wasn't slap worthy in my opinion. But I feel like Jada could have did more. She could have, calmed that situation totally down. Let's just say like I said in the beginning, she didn't know he was going to slap him. You know what I'm saying? But once he came down, she could have walked over and bent down to him and say, look at me. We're not doing that. We need to leave it. You need to calm down. All that yelling, if that was my husband and he was doing all of that or whatever, and he got ready to walk on the stage, and maybe I didn't know, I probably would have been like, okay, what are you going to do? What is he doing? But when I seen him come back down and slap, after he slapped that man and came back down, I walked over to him and said, that is unacceptable. That is not what we're doing. Both of us have worked too hard to get here, let alone we're black. And I know a lot of y'all like, oh, well, you know what? No, that's a big deal, especially at the Oscars. Not many black people win Oscars. You know what I'm saying? Will should have got an Oscar for Ali. He didn't. So there's different things when you're in a house and you get to be in rooms that you're not normally in. Has Will been to the Oscars before? Yes. He hasn't won. Has Jada been before? Yes. I don't think she's won an Oscar. But what I'm saying is I want you guys to be mindful of how God will bless us to enter in different rooms, and the enemy is looking to mess us up in those rooms because a lot of people don't feel like we're qualified to be in those rooms. But if God brought you to these rooms and these opportunities, you're very well qualified. Even if you don't have paper to show it, if you're in the room, you're in there for a reason. But you got to know how to conduct yourself and know there's always somebody watching and always someone trying to bring you down and say, see, I told you so. And I told y'all that last time in my other video. So I just feel like for Will, I love Jada. I don't know them. They're human. I don't know anything about their personal life. I just love the actors that they play in their movies and then what I've seen so far. But at the end of the day, yeah, this was a big oops for Will. And I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. But I just had to point it out because nobody's really saying like what position she played and how she could have been better with that. Say he was he touched a nerve and he hurt her feelings or whatever because she's been on the red table talking. Us women, we are very sensitive about our hair. We are, especially black women. I don't care how nice your hair is. At the end of the day, you're sensitive about it and we don't want to lose it. Some of us don't mind losing it. I have a cousin that cut her hair plenty of times and it grow back like nothing. Hair is hair, right? But when you're in the limelight and you kind of, you know, put on these images or this image, you know, you don't want to have to make a detrimental choice like that and it can't come back from it, especially with alopecia. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is there's going to be a lot of things out here that presses and pokes at our insecurities, especially the higher you go and the more you go in different rooms and when you leveling up. There's going to be people that's going to pull on and poke on you and make notice of your insecurities. Don't let that stop you. Don't let what they say stop you from entering rooms and stopping your coins and stopping your progress, because that doesn't matter. You're insecure. You got there and you were still insecure. You're still Jada, even though you don't have hair. You know, but it didn't warrant a slap. But all I'm saying is I just think that we need to look at that and say, you know, she could have did better. She could have did better by protecting Will too. She could have did better knowing that, okay, he getting upset now. Oh, you just slapped that man. No, that is not okay. You did it in front of people, so there should have been no reason why you wouldn't be embarrassed for me to go and be like, hey, Because I see that she kind of, Jada seems like she kind of, you know, not afraid to say how she feel. I don't see why she wouldn't go and be like, oh, you know, that was not called for. But all I'm saying is just be careful, guys. We talked about this before about reacting. But wives, we got to protect our husbands, and our husbands, you got to protect your wives too, is the way you do it. But at the end of the day, we're one. And even though she sat back and allowed him, because you can't control nobody, she didn't try to intervene, she didn't try to deflate the situation, it's still a reflection of her. This is what it is. And what comes out of our house when we're one, it bothers me and it's gonna bother you. Even if we're not on the same money, we might not share the same bank account, we're still one at the end of the day. I don't care if y'all got an open marriage and y'all play around with different men, and I don't care nothing about that. At the end of the day, that's your wife and that's your husband, your reflection of both. She could have did better in that situation. That's just me. So I just feel like we got to take our vows seriously. And like I said again, every relationship is different. I can't speak on people's relationship because it's what you make it. So maybe that's how they made it. But then again, you can't be mad when these consequences come. You know what I'm saying? Or people speaking out on your marriage. You have it openly. It's public. You know, it's there for people to comment on or whatever. And I just feel like, you know, yeah, Will was wrong. I feel awful for Chris. You know, at the end of the day, I feel real awful for him. I've been praying for the whole situation. I feel bad for him just by him voicing what he's been through as a child. And he just started talking about how he holds back on anger because he know how angry he can get. He handled that like a soldier, like a man. Like I'm telling you, he had so much restraint. But I just felt like she could have did more. That's just my take on that. And I just wanted to say that because no one's saying that. They kind of just talking about Will and how he was wrong. He was wrong, but she was too. Okay, guys, I love you.